Okay, in this video we're going to talk about tense, and that is simple present tense. So first of all, before we discuss about simple present tense, let's talk about the tenses and the kinds of tenses. So what is a tense? What is a tense? A tense is a word that is used to show. Tense shows, let's say tense shows the time of action. Tense shows the time of action. Tense is a word that is used to show the time of action. For example, if we study, and then when do we study? That's the time of an action. If we say play, when do we play? That's the time of an action. If we say read, when do we read? Action. So tense is a word that is used to show the time of an action. How many tenses do we have? There are actually there are mainly present tense, we have past tense, and we have future tense, and also we have conditional tense, or we can also say future tense in the past. Future tense in the past. So in present tense, what are the present tenses? So we have the first one, simple present tense. We have present continuous tense. Present continuous tense. We have present perfect tense. Present perfect. We also have present perfect continuous tense. Present perfect continuous tense. Same case with the past tense. We have past tense. First one, we have simple present tense. We have simple present tense. We have simple past tense. We have past continuous tense. We have past perfect, and we have past perfect continuous, past perfect continuous tense. Now we also have future tense. We have simple future tense. The next one, we have future perfect, future continuous. We have the next one, future perfect, and we also have future perfect continuous tense. Future perfect continuous tense. Now we have also conditional tenses. Conditional tenses are simple conditional. We have conditional continuous. Conditional continuous. We have perfect conditional, and we have perfect continuous conditional. Perfect conditional continuous. So now we discuss about the tense. What is a tense? A tense is a word that is used to show the time of an action. We have mainly four tenses: present tense, past tense, future tense, and conditional tenses, or we can also call this future tense in the past. So we have four present tenses: simple present, present continuous, present perfect continuous. We have past tense, simple past, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous tense. Future, simple future tense, future continuous tense, future perfect, and future perfect continuous tense. Same case with conditional tense. We have simple conditional, conditional continuous, conditional perfect conditional, and perfect conditional continuous tense. Now, so we only start here. This video will discuss about simple present tense. Now, what is a simple present tense? Which structure do we use in simple present tense? So in simple present tense, we use the infinitive form of the verb. In simple present tense, we use the infinitive of the verb. Now let's discuss about the usages of simple present tense. Let's talk about the usages. When do we use simple present tense? Now, these are the usages. The first one, we use simple present tense for habitual actions. Habitual actions. The second tense, we use it for daily activities. The third one, we use it for facts, state facts. Number four, we use simple present tense for future arrangement. Number five, we also use in newspaper headlines. So now, so simple present tense is used. It is used to talk about habitual actions. So what are habitual actions? Or we can say karahay adati. Habitual actions are it belongs to our habits. For example, if I say I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. If I say I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, this is simple present tense, and here this is my habit. Or if I say they smoke, it shows a habit. Or if I say he drinks coffee, so this is a habit. It's a habit. So the first thing, it's used to talk about habitual actions. Habitual actions, karaydati, things that we usually do, mostly do it. The second action, it is used to talk about, second one, it is used to talk about daily activities, the actions that we do during the day. For example, if I say we go to course every day. So we go to course every day, it shows habit, it shows daily activity. Or the next one, she washes the dishes every day. Now this is also kind of activity that we do. Or they do their homework. So if I say they do their homework, so it's also kind of daily activity. Now the next one is also used to talk about the facts. So what kind of facts does it talk about? Now here we usually consider two kinds of facts. Look, we have mostly general fact, and we also have universal fact. So what is the difference? General fact is mostly changeable. Sometimes it changes in the future. This one is unchangeable. So now simple present tense is also used to talk about the facts, and we have two kinds of them. We have general fact and we have universal fact. So general fact is changeable. It can be changed. For example, if I say he is a teacher, now it's a fact that he is a teacher, but it can change. He can leave teaching or quit teaching. Or if I say I am a student. Now if I say I am a student here, this is also a fact, but this fact may change. Or next one, for example, she failed. If I say she is sick. She is sick. If I say she is sick, so now this is simple present tense. Now she cannot be sick all the time. This fact can change. Or if I say I teach English. Now if I say I teach English, so it can change. Now this is the general fact. But if I have a universal fact, it belongs to universal law, so that's why it cannot be changed. For example, if I say the earth goes around the sun. Now this is a simple present tense. In this simple present tense, the action here is a universal fact. We cannot change it. We cannot ask the sun to go around the earth. So the earth goes around the sun. So this is a universal fact. Or if I say God is one. Now this is the thing that we cannot change. So here this is a universal fact. So we also use simple present tense to talk about something which is always true, especially universal facts. Now it talks about facts, general fact, universal fact. General fact is changeable, universal fact is not changeable. These are the examples. Now it is a simple present tense is also used. It's also used to talk about the other usage. Number 4, it talks about future arrangement, or we can call this a planned future. If you want to talk about a planned future, you plan it from some days ago, some weeks ago, to happen at a specific time, at a specific place. We use future tense, simple present tense. For example, if I say he leaves tomorrow, or she arrives next week, or we have a meeting tonight. Now, if I say this sentence as the first one, now here, he leaves tomorrow, simple present tense, or she arrives next week, simple present tense, or we have a meeting tonight, simple present tense. But here, this simple present tense, actually, these structures show future arrangement. If I say he leaves tomorrow, it is a planned future. When you plan something and it happens, we can call this planned future. For planned future, we can use what tense? Simple present tense. For example, he leaves tomorrow, and here it's very important to mention the future time expression. This is future time expression, and this is future time expression. So he leaves tomorrow. Now if I don't use it, he leaves, it's confusing. So that's why we have to say he leaves tomorrow. Now here it shows future arrangement. The next one, she arrives next week. It means it's planned that she arrives here next week. So we can say she arrives next week. Or we have a meeting tonight. Now here, this is planned that the meeting starts tonight. Or we can say the class starts tomorrow. If I say the class starts tomorrow, then it means I arrange it that the class starts tomorrow. So we can call this future arrangement. So it is also used in newspaper headlines. In newspapers, actually, for the actions that happen or has happened, we always use present tense. For example, if I say president wins election. If I say president wins election, so it means the president won the election. Or if I say Brazil wins final, it means Brazil won final. So this is the newspaper, and here we mostly use simple present tense for the action that happened or has happened. Now these are the important usages of simple present tense. Let's review again. Simple present tense or present simple tense is used to talk about habitual actions. It is used to talk about daily activities. It is used to talk about future arrangement, or we can call this planned future. It is also used to talk about newspaper headlines. Now with simple future tense, when we talk about habitual actions, mostly in simple present tense, if I want to talk about habits here, I have to use simple present tense plus adverbials of frequency. If I use adverbials of frequency plus simple present tense, now what does this show? They show actually habitual actions. They talk about habits. So what are adverbials of frequency? These are the adverbials of frequency. The adverbials of frequency there are some expressions that we use, and there are some words, or we can also call them the adverb. So what are the expressions that we use? The expressions are once, we have twice, we have thrice, we have 4 times, we have every day, we have every night, every week, and so on. And here for the adverbs, the words, we have always, we have usually, we have often, we have sometimes, and so on. Now, if I want to talk about habits in simple present tense, we mostly use simple present tense with adverbials of frequency. And these are the adverbials. We have the expressions and we have the adverbs. Now, for example, if I say, I usually wake up at 6 o'clock. So if I say I wake up at 6 o'clock, or I usually wake up at 6 o'clock, it shows my activity, it shows my habit. So adverb of frequency plus simple present tense, it shows the habit. Or the next one, he goes to school every day. If I say he goes to school every day, now here this every day is the expression, adverbial frequency, habit. Or the next one, we can say she comes to class late every day. Or the next one, we can say they play football once a week. So here expression of frequency plus simple present tense, that shows habit. Now we use simple present tense plus adverbials of frequency to talk about habitual actions, the activities, or we talk about our routines. So there we have two kinds of adverbials. They are expressions and also they are adverbs. For the expressions we have once, twice, thrice, 4 times, 5 times, so on. Or we can say every day, every night, and every month, every week. And for adverbs we have always, usually, often, sometimes, ever, never, and so on. Now this is the definition of simple present tense. Let's talk about some examples of simple present tense and how we can change this simple present tense to other forms. Now that was all about the usage of simple present tense. Now in simple present tense, what's important is that when the subject is he, she, it, the verb, when we use the verb takes s, es, or ies. This is very important. So when the subject is he, she, and it, or singular subject. Now the verb takes es, ies, or so when does it take es? Whenever the verb finishes with sh, ch, double s, x, o. Now at that time here, if it finishes with these letters, the verb takes s, es. For example, we have watch, we have wash, we have kiss, we have fix, and we have go. Now if I have such verbs, for example, watch becomes watches, wash becomes washes, kiss becomes kisses, fix becomes fixes, go becomes goes. Now this verb, if a verb finishes with ch, sh, double s, x, and o, so we use es, and the pronunciation is is. For example, except go, watches. We don't pronounce it watches. We pronounce it watches. It's not pronounced washes. We have to pronounce it washes. This is not pronounced case. We have to pronounce it cases. And this is not pronounced fix. How do you pronounce it? Fixes. And this is pronounced goes. Now, the other structure that we have is that when do we use ies? So here, if a word finishes with y, before y, if we have a consonant sound, then the verb, the letter y changes to I and we add es. For example, when we have cry, when we have try, when we have study. So, if I say cry finishes with y and we change y to I and add es. Cries. Try becomes tries. And study becomes studies. Study becomes studies. But if a verb finishes with y here, if a verb finishes with y, before y, if we have vowel sound, we just add es. For example, we have play, we have say, we have pay, enjoy, and so on. Now, or we can say obey, it finishes with y. Before y we have vowel, we add s, just s, just s. Plays, says, and pays or obeys. Now the rest of the verbs, the rest of them take s. For example, we have book becomes books, or we have to say, for example, if we have to say, for example, write becomes writes, or we have to say speak becomes speaks, climb becomes climbs, and the rest of them. Now it's very important when a verb, when we have the subject he, she, and it is singular, the verb takes es, es, or ies. So here, when a verb finishes with ch, sh, double s, x, or o, we add es. And if a verb finishes with y, before y if we have consonant, y changes to I and add es, for example. But if a verb finishes with y, before y if we have vowel, we just add s. Plays, says, pays. The rest of the verbs take s. Now let's give an example. So if you want to give an example for simple present tense, for example, for he and she and it, if I say he goes to school, he goes to school every day, for example. Now this is an affirmative sentence, or we can call this a positive sentence. How can I change this positive sentence to negative? So here we just have to say, in simple present tense, if you change it to negative, we have to use the auxiliary verb do and does. For example, he goes to school. How can I change it to negative? I have to say he, and we use does. He doesn't or does not go to school. So it's very important when we use does, the verb does not take s or es. And how can you change it to question or interrogative? We can say, we use auxiliary verb at the beginning. We can say, does he go to school? Question mark. How can we change it to negative interrogative? We have to say, does he not go to school? And also the other form, we can say, does not he go to school? So the verb here, this is a formal one, and the next one is informal. If a not comes after the subject, it's informal, formal, but if not comes before subject, it's informal. This is how we can change it to negative. He goes to school, he doesn't go to school, does he go to school, does he not go to school, or does not he go to school? So for he, she, and it we use does, and for the rest of them we use do. For example, if I have a sentence, if I say they play football, they play football. Now this is a simple present tense. How can I change it to negative? This is a positive sentence. If I want to change it to negative, I have to use they do not or don't play football. They don't play football. So how can I change it to question? For the question form, I have to say, do they play football? Do they play football? That's how we can change it to question. And the negative interrogative, if I want to use the negative interrogative, we have to say, do they not play football? And also the last one, we can say, do not they play football? Do not they play football? So this is how we can change them to negative and the question forms. So for he, she, and it we use does, and for I, we, you, they we use do for plural form. This is how we can use simple present tense and how we can talk about the structures and forms. Thank you.